everything okay with you? Good weather in Budapest? Oh yeah. So I'm very happy to be here again, and this morning we will make a workshop with our Dexibell instruments. We put 2 instruments on the stage for you. This is our S9, is our flagship. So basically everything we developed is inside. Okay, I will explain a little bit later where the instruments distinguish, like the S7, the S3, the P7, etc., S7 Pro, S3 Pro. Second instrument, we put our classical. This is an instrument dedicated to classical music. We'll get there eventually. This presentation will take a little bit more than 1 hour, probably, more or less, depending on how fast I will play the songs. And then we will have some time for Q&A and for you to try the instruments and to ask some questions, etc. Is that okay with everybody? It's okay to... I'm sorry, I still cannot speak Hungarian. Apart from egészségedre, that's the only word that's the only word I really can say. And music is international anyway. So let's just have a go. This was just my warm-up, okay? Is the sound okay for everybody? Is not too loud? Not booming? Perfect. So you have heard the fantastic piano sound that we did for our Dexibell instruments. Let's just dive a little bit into the technology at that moment, okay? Our sound engine is called True to Life T2L, and we are on 48 kilohertz, 24-bit. And the sample length for the note before going into the loop for saving memory is around 15 seconds. This is far above industry standard. Also, we have managed to separate several components of the piano sound, such as a hammer noise, key noise, etc. Let me just give you a short idea about that. So I have my T2L editor open now. I can twist the knob and change the volume and the impact of the hammer. The key off noise. That's the mechanical noise in the piano, and when you crank that up, you get that feeling of authenticity, to be close to the... Sexy. The damper pedal noise. And all these noises, of course, are dynamic. So if I push soft, they're soft. If I push strong, they're strong. String resonance, one of the most important parameters, because when we recorded all the sound from the acoustic grand piano, we study deeply the behavior of the grand piano, not just recording with the microphone. That's something probably everybody can do today, but to study really inside what is happening when I do this, what is happening when I do this, and then we try to replicate. So one major thing, as you know, is the resonance. I do a silent touch here. So in the acoustic piano, the two dampers are open now, and then I can. All the harmonics. If I do this the opposite way, I do a silent chord. You have the resonance on that side. And this is one of the most important functions in our instrument, to create the resonances in real time. Same goes for the damper resonance, the soundboard resonance. It's not a reverb you're hearing now. You hear that? Which exists in the acoustic grand piano, okay? Then another important part of the sound is what we call staccato resonance. I cut all the reverb now, so what you hear is just the pure sound. And you can hear the real behavior of the acoustic piano. If you want to compare the sound with some other brand, just cut the reverb and do staccato, and then you make your own ideas and evaluation, okay? Also, the behavior in the low end, you can hear, is really long. Just imagine the grand piano is very, very huge. The string is like that. To stop the string is not like that. It takes some time. And as long as the string is vibrating, I'm able to catch it with the pedal. Just listen. Even if I press the pedal after release of the key. That's all things that we discover when we started creating the sound. These kind of behaviors, and we replicate in a digital way in our T2L engine. And this is why the sound is so much vivid and alive. And this is why the instrument has the name Vivo, which is Italian for alive. Then if you compare staccato resonance of the grand piano with the upright piano, very different, right? It's much more boomy, because the shape of the upright is different, the behavior is different. So we analyze every sound we made in this deep level. Okay, so maybe with the upright piano you can do. And again, big dynamic range. This is one of the goals also in our instrument. The difference between pianissimo, let me try that. I don't change anything. You can hear the dynamic range is amazing, and this is due to 24-bit, which gives you in a mathematical spoken way 256 times more dynamic range than 16-bit. That's quite amazing. When we created the sound, we asked our piano technician to be with us the whole time. So, because he can change a lot of the sound in the acoustic piano. Just, for example, by changing the hardness of the hammer, he can change the sound dramatically. Let me give you an example. So we asked him to create the big concert grand, middle of the road kind of sound that you would know from Then we ask, soften the hammers for the more romantic. Much more soft. And then we ask, now please make the hammers more hard for more rock, jazz. Very different sound. Then we can, of course, layer sounds up to 4 parts, not just 2, 4. So let me do that. I can bring in the synth sound with my expression pedal, which is underneath my right foot, so it can go. And then, now I have 4 sounds: piano, synth, electric piano, and bass. Go like. And again, dynamic. You can really make it breathe, right? Then, when we made our first step in finalizing sound, of course, we compare to different brands, but also to acoustic piano and even to recording of acoustic piano. So I have a USB stick here. We have an audio player. I have loaded a recording of Vladimir Horowitz playing Steinway grand piano at Carnegie Hall, New York. Okay, listen. Okay, so this is another benchmark we do for ourselves to be, because our idea at Dexibell is to bring the digital piano as close as possible today with our technology to the grand piano. This is why we make this kind of crazy comparison. And of course this goes for all the piano sounds, the acoustic piano sounds, upright piano sounds, etc. But this also goes for the electric pianos. That was just a Wurlitzer sound. Let's go through some of the electric pianos now. Let's imagine Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He doesn't have the piano some 100 years ago, but he found a Rhodes in his room. Wow, what would he have done? We did the clavinet. With an automatic wah-wah. So the wah-wah depends on your touch. Or, if you prefer, on the pedal. So it's up to you. Then the CP80. Another legend in vintage electric pianos, or half electric pianos in that case. have a split point. Piano and synth brass with the expression pedal. Then we already did the Wurlitzer. Of course, there's effects here. So on this part, you will find 2 multi-effects for every sound. For example, here I do have a electric piano tremolo. I can change intensity. Now a little bit too much. And the speed of the tremolo. Or I can have some chorus, and this will give me the typical Supertramp kind of sound. With the split point. No, I'm not gonna sing that. Then FM pianos from the time. Everybody knows this sound. Then going back to the Rhodes one more time, I'd like to show you what we've done again in the T2L editor. We have hammer noise. But this time everything is derived from the Fender Rhodes sound. Key off noise. Damper pedal. Off noise, which is the stopping of the vibration of the tines in the Rhodes, which gives you that little zzz when you stop the note. I can remove. Now it's gone. Okay. Then we have the bell part, which is that high frequent. I really crank it up now. You hear that high frequency? I turn it down now. Much more soft. Hear all the dynamics and all the noises in the Rhodes. I just played the Rhodes downstairs. It's so close to that sound. It's amazing. And then, of course, you can do the what I call the ballad Rhodes with the reverb and the chorus and everything. Now we have that. Yay! Let's go to Los Angeles. Bring in the synth pad. Yeah. So you can hear all the articulations and everything. So this is real music instrument, which is fantastic. Let's move a little bit to some classical sounds. such as a celesta. A little bit of magic. Yay! So speaking about classical sounds, we have a dedicated instrument for that, which is the classico. Let me just move over there for a couple of minutes. The classical sounds that we can have here are basically derived from our classical instrument, from our classico. And the main purpose of the instrument, and that's also visible due to the layout, you can see on the screen these stops. This is typical for a pipe organ in the church. So let's go for that. Including the cathedral reverb, okay? So in this instrument you will find several kind of pipe organ: British, French, American, German Baroque for Bach, and an instrument that we call the positive, which is kind of a small box with pipe organ, with pipe inside. Sort of portable in the church. I mean, in this world nothing is portable, but sort of portable. So it has that fine, small pipe sound. I have to practice every day. If it's Bach, whew. Okay, so you see this is the small positive. Then we have the huge cathedral. Including orchestral sounds. And the cathedral reverb. So there is dedicated buttons for tuning. Tuning is important. For Baroque music, you probably will go down in tuning, or you will change the scale if you want to go for this Baroque authenticity. Then there is the button for the reverb. So let's listen to the huge cathedral organ with no reverb. A little bit funny. So let's bring back the reverb. Yeah, now we are back in the game. Then classical sounds. Mozart again. And you can hear in the solo sound, we take care for the articulation, staccato or legato. So again, this is the behavior modeling, because again, our sound engine is a combination of sampling and modeling to make the sound the most authenticity that we can achieve today. Naturally, we have a piano in this instrument. Derived from our Vivo series. We have classical sounds as harpsichord. With the strings. The flute. So the idea of this instrument basically is to have pipe organ sounds, different kind of pipe organs, of course, then classical sounds, piano, celeste, harpsichord, etc., etc. Because we feel that, of course, if you are living in a big city, maybe like Budapest, or I'm living in Berlin, the big orchestra, they have a lot of enough money to buy the grand piano, to buy the celeste, to buy the harpsichord, and everything. But in smaller places, probably not. So maybe they can buy a grand piano, but that's the end of the story. With this instrument, they can have a pipe organ, a celeste, a harpsichord, and everything in their orchestra. The instrument has 2 internal speakers. We just designed a subwoofer to be able to reproduce the low frequency of the pipe organ, the big 32-foot, and you will be absolutely in the game here. To close this little presentation of the L3, some more pipe organ sound. Thank you very much.